So welcome everybody. It's a really small group this morning, which is actually probably more beneficial for you guys. Hopefully, it means that we can, or Hayley can have those questions on a one-to-one basis. But basically, we're here. Hopefully, you've all signed up for the Speakers for Schools platform already, and now your kind of questions are on what comes next and how do you kind of get the best out of those opportunities. And Hayley can, you know, help you navigate through the site a little bit better, really, so that you're getting the most out of everything that's available to you. So, Hayley, I'll just hand over to you if that's all right, and we'll kind of go from there.
Hi everybody, I'm Hayley. I'm head of region for the Southwest, and as Jo said, I just wanted to kind of put this time in to really speak to you to discuss what are next steps, because I know a number of schools are signed up to the platform, but they don't know how to use it or get the most value from it. So I just wanted to check kind of what is the best way of us working and how I can support you, really. So as we're a small group, I'm happy for you to either like just ask me questions straight away, or you can put something in the chat. It's completely up to you what you would rather do. But I kind of wanted it to be fluid conversation about how I can help you. So it'd be really good if you could kind of just maybe a couple of you give me some thoughts around, are you using the platform first? And how are you finding it? Or just so I can kind of gather where we are in terms of where you're using it and how I can support you. If anyone wants to start.
Okay. So,
hi, can you hear me?
Go on, Ian. Yes, go on, Ian.
Yeah, I've signed up, but I've not got much further than that, really, to be honest. So I'm a complete and utter novice.
Okay, that's good to know, so I can know how to support you. Emma, do you want to? Like, how have you been using it? I'm just going to go through the list and pick on you.
We've signed up and we have had students start to use the platform, but what I think we need to think about now is how to scale it up, because we've got thousands of students that could potentially be using it. So it's thinking about how best to engage them with what's there, and also I have a few questions about how to manage the experience platform as well.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine. I can show you some of that as well. That's fine. Alana?
I'm a complete novice.
Okay.
So I had a meeting with I think it was like Hot Southwest Careers Hub or something like that, and they mentioned Speakers for Schools, and I was like, don't know anything about it. So they were like, hop on this call and then go from there. So I'm just going to absorb everything.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's good to know. Yeah, no, that's good to know. Caroline? You're on mute, Caroline.
Everything's on delay this morning. So I'm from Coombs Hafford School. I'm careers lead at Coombs Hafford. Got quite a lot of experience with careers and stuff, but thought it'd be useful to find out a little bit more about this.
Okay, that's fine. A Grant? I'm just kind of going across the names.
Hey, it's Mandy. Hang on, I'll put the video on and you can see me. Hello.
Okay, that's fine. Hi.
Oh yeah. I signed up to it. I put it on a new careers channel that we made on Teams. Had 2 students that actually signed up to it.
Mm-hmm.
One of them had their first work experience on Tuesday, would it have been? I've lost track of what days it is today. The second, whenever that was. She said she thoroughly enjoyed it. She really liked interacting with other people around the country, and so but I have no idea what she actually did, if that makes sense, because he sort of signed up to it and then I didn't really have any other input. But I don't know if that's how it works. So I'm a bit the same as everyone else, really. I'm not sure what I'm doing.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. And it says S for SRE. Is that you, Shaheen? Or is that, sorry if you are a teacher, I just can't tell.
What does it say?
S for S, just sorry, I'm just thinking about the next person. So that's fine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine, Shaheen. It's my colleague, but you know when you can't see their name, so I'm like, I just want to check it with my colleague, or I'm just talking to somebody that isn't. So that's really good. So Shaheen, my colleague Shaheen's on the call, and we will happily help support you on some of these questions. So it's really great to kind of know where you are in terms of stages. And I think the first thing to discuss is what Emma said about how do you like, what do you actually do when you get the information from Anne, Dan, and the other enterprise coordinators? And also, what do you do when you get on the site? Because actually, it's a bit like, if you don't know, it's like, what am I actually doing, and how do I help support young people? So in terms of what Emma was saying about how do we let everyone know, you can actually identify students that are either signed up, so thinking from Mandy said that, and send them opportunities on the portal, and I'll show you what it looks like in a moment. Or you can actually look at opportunities yourself and share them via your school email, so then you can actually reach out to a lot more young people. But you might want to think about either putting something in a newsletter or setting up a certain group to kind of share these opportunities, because we're getting more and more each day. So just thinking about what we've got at the moment in terms of the Southwest and nationally, we've got ones where learn how to become a nature reserve ranger, learn about waste and energy with MVV, environmental. We've got quite a few with NHS Somerset that are doing different insight mornings for NHS, and then we've got ones from the British Army, which was really quite an interesting one around like music. So they're going to like teach people how to like do careers in music, which I thought was really interesting. And then also, what other ones that I know we've got on there at the moment? We've got quite a lot around green skills, because our green skills campaign is happening in April. So there's lots of opportunities in holiday and term time, because I know that that can also be quite a thing at the moment with schools, that actually can all your young people do it out of classroom time. So I think that there's a vast array of opportunities, and it's just about how you would share it best with your schools, and how to support that. I know you just put a question, so if you say your expectations, students, yes, so basically they can review the link, and then Emma will tell them how to sign up. So it'll basically say, but I'll show you in a moment. Yeah, but that's the one good thing. So that's where you can share it and broadcast it much more to a lot more people. But yeah, there's so many opportunities, and that's going to grow over the summer. So I've been doing a lot of work with the Careers Hub to engage more businesses, and they are coming on every day. But there is opportunities as well for you as career leads. You all have businesses that you work with, that you probably did work experience with every year until COVID. So if you wanted to, myself and my colleague Stephanie are more than happy to do a webinar with you and your employers to talk about how they can go virtual, because we're seeing that's working quite well, because it helps to share kind of why you need to be doing that and what the need of the students are, but also it's good that you've kind of got businesses that already know about your school and want to work with you, so they want to support you. So it's just about kind of teaching them how to go virtual and to do it in a week or a time scale that will suit your school's needs. But hi Ian, I think you've just joined. Just want to say like hi, that's all I was going to say. You might be on mute if you are speaking, I'm not sure.
Sorry, I'm late. I do apologise.
That's okay, not to worry. I was just saying kind of how you can access the opportunities and like what we can do to scale it up. But I'll show you how to use the platform, okay, and the portal in a moment. But each week I share opportunities with Dan, Anne and Joe, and they share it out with all your enterprise coordinators. So hopefully you will receive them as well, but you can also go onto the portal. So Shaheen, if you can answer any questions, I'm going to share my screen, but I won't be able to see once I do that. So I'm just getting it up. So I'm just going to get this up now. Where's the portal? Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the experience portal. So have all of you signed up and gone into this, got to this stage yet?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Like Emma, everybody else, like I can kind of see. So even if you're nodding, I can kind of see if there's a yes or. So that's really good. So this is your dashboard of how you can look at opportunities and telling you what you need to do next. And we offer training on this as well. So if you wanted to, we can put you on portal training. Likewise, I'm happy to do a one-to-one with you. But it is quite simple. It might seem complex, but the portal is actually really simple. So as a teacher, you've got the account, and this is your dashboard. And this is where you can see how many applications have been made in total, how many applications have been made in draft. So if you have any students that have maybe started the application but not finished it, you can actually then coach them to do that. Your action required, that's a really important part as a careers lead, because that's where they will, that's where you need to input data and input maybe a teacher's covering note to go off to the employer. So until you have actioned this, the application to the employer won't happen. So that's really important. I can show you that in a minute. And here you can see that I've got 2 applications that are awaiting employers' actions and that 13 are completed. So it just kind of gives you an overview of all the opportunities. So what I will do is I will go through the top bit, and then I'll go and then I'll show you how to kind of what you need to do. So applications, this is where your actions required, but you can see here, and you will only be able to see these details of the students' names. And these are actually our staff at the moment, so you can see in the test site. But when the employer looks at it, they won't see the students' names for safeguarding and GDPR. So all they will see is if they are a high need or low need student, and what school they come from and the age. But you will obviously see the students' names because you're part of that school, so you can help support it. So here you can see that we've made different, we've got a draft here, we've got an application withdrawn, one awaiting employers, but you can actually view and update them, and you can actually support your young people to know how to continue to support that. And here it says application unsuccessful, awaiting teacher confirmation. So if I click on awaiting teacher confirmation, you go to view and update, and here's where it is quite self-explanatory. You need to just add some more information. So you might want to put why that young person is being put forward. Not everybody does this, so it is entirely up to you. We do ask if you can put some of this data in, because some business specifically want to work with certain students, but we do appreciate that you might not be able to. So here is where you can put the data in if you want to. You can then add some other notes if they're SEND, if English is their second language. And this is really important to make sure that they've got parent and guardian permission. So you might want to, depending on, especially Emma, if you're scaling it up, you might want to send out something in a newsletter to make sure that all the students can actually sign up and do this. So then it just saves you having to then do certain letters back each time, for instance, if once they're signed up. But it could be something to either build into next year's parental consent, or likewise you might want to say do something now so they can access opportunities. But it's quite simple, and then you just save and submit. But it's quite self-explanatory, so you don't have to do too much. But if you want to know more about the opportunity, here it has all the details, and you can actually view the opportunity as well when you're writing the covering letter, and about the different about the information, so you can see it. And that's a bit from the teachers that you need to really do. From an opportunity, and this is what you were saying, Emma, about how you can search and tell the young people. I'm going to just pick, so I'm just going to pick the top one. So Turner and Townsend are doing one in the Easter holidays. So if you click on view opportunity, and you can search for different ones, you click onto view, and then you can see what they'll learn, how old they need to be, when the closing dates are. It's quite good as well because they put on here what the schools they'll learn and what the great assets and qualities for the student. So if you think actually this would be really good because they really enjoy STEM, or they really enjoy a certain subject, you might think, oh, I'm going to tell them. And this is the application process, sorry. So there's 3 questions, really simple questions, but it just helps to I guess find the young people to get them to think about applying and doing the employability skills, but it helps the employer to also decide who goes forward and who doesn't. But how you can notify students is you go to notify students, and here you can see all the students, well, our staff, sorry, that are signed up. So you can either click them automatically if they're a student that you know actually would really like to, and these are students that have already put themselves and registered onto the portal. But if you want to do it en masse, you can actually say, click here to share email with students not yet on experience, and you can do it via your work email. So that might help you to share from mass, this is a great opportunity. So you might think about ones are specific to classes. So if you've got something around, I'm just thinking more of a college, because I've been doing quite a lot of college calls recently, really want to do travel and tourism, you might see one that we have for Visit Britain, and you think, actually, I want to share that with that whole class, or with a form tutor that then can share it with the class. So there's a way of actually sharing that en masse for people that are not on the portal, but you can also share it directly to people that are already registered. And that's how you do that there. So going back to students, you can also manage groups. So what I would say is if you've got loads and loads of students, you can, once they sign up, they will come into here. But actually, once you I would recommend getting teachers to be put on there, so form tutors, year heads, because you're not going to know if you've got, say, 200 students in 1 year, you're not going to know every single student to be able to do that covering letter. So I would suggest, if you can, getting some form tutors to be involved, and again, they can go on this training, and you can actually add staff. So you can add staff here, and you can create them an account if you wanted to. So, or so you might say, like, head of year 10, put their email, first name, and then add them. But once they're added, you can then group them. So then all of the students from a form could go to that teacher, so they can review the application. So it's not all on you as career leads to do that, because it is quite a lot if you're doing year 10, 11, 12 and 13, if you've got right through to sixth form, there's going to be a lot of students that you're going to need to do that. But I would definitely say to you, get as many staff to be able to support you, because in a peak time, thinking about summer, if you have got all of year 10 that you're trying to get placements, and then other ones, you will want that support. But that's really kind of what you need to do. So it's about reviewing the applications. If I go back to my technology is now being really slow. Yep, it's not playing now. But yeah, if you go,
Hayley, I was just
sorry, Karen. Carry on, yeah.
No, Hayley, I was just going to say, this is a really great way to engage other staff within the schools. You know, we on the Gatsby have the whole school approach to getting different staff involved and making sure that careers is like part of everybody's role. This is a really easy way to engage different members of staff to take part in and contribute to the careers programme, if you will.
Yeah, that's totally good, and thank you. That's actually gone into now. My computer's now playing catch up, so thank you, Shaheen. But it is, like you say, it's a really good, and it does support everything we do at Speakers for Schools as we work with businesses to assure that we are trying to meet Gatsby benchmark 5 and 6. So if they are employer encounters, they might be more of like a 1-day session or a half-day session. And we are seeing more employers as well doing a bit more bite-sized engagement. But to make sure that we can support the Gatsby benchmarks, we are making sure that we use Google Classrooms. And that they are doing some live Q&A or polls or some sort of kind of two-way engagement. So it's not just a broadcast, because that's not what we want to support. We want to support reaching those Gatsby benchmarks. And if they're a 3-day or a 5-day experience, we do ask them to do a real life work project. And that's what we, like you say, Shaheen, we want to make sure that we're supporting the Gatsby benchmarks, but it does help to get more teachers engaged. But here, like I said, again, this is your dashboard, and this gives you the kind of step-by-steps. But I think the main points that I would say is knowing how to notify your students of opportunities, and then making sure that you can check this action required, or you're getting your colleagues to, because you don't want young people to miss out. Because we have had some teachers go, oh my God, I completely forgot to check the portal, and I've had 3 people that are now missed out because the deadline's closed. So I think it is just being conscious that I set up a notification like once a week to check the portal, or like twice a week, and that might be something that you want to do. But that's the kind of the best way to showcase some of your opportunities to these young people. But yeah, has anyone got any questions on that? Because I know I talk really quickly, so sorry if I've gone too fast.
Hi Hayley, thanks for that. That was really interesting, because I didn't actually know that you could click on notify students and then go to the bottom and send a bulk email. So that's going to change my life, because I've just been copy and pasting to like my own email account. So that's really good. What I found a bit challenging about using the portal at the moment is, I don't know if I'm using it correctly, but I can only see for student groups years 10 and 11 as an option. I didn't know, is there a way that you can create your own group with, you know, with an edited title for that group?
Let me have a look. Yeah, so you can create groups on there. I'm just going to quickly go into your let me see if I can find your account. But yeah, you can. So you can create different groups. So you can actually add groups. So it might be that whoever else has signed up onto that has created those 2 groups, because that's who's already engaging. But you could create a tech class group. You could create a humanities group. You can create whatever the groups are and then put the students into them.
Thank you. I have had a go at trying to work that out myself, and I've not been able to. So I don't know if we do have time at any point in this session, if you're able to maybe kind of talk us through how you do that, or.
Yeah, let me just, I'm just sorry.
Basically what you do is, Emma, I was just going to say, what you do is say you've got the list of students and they're not assigned to any groups. At the moment, I think what you're looking at is students that are assigned into groups. So if you have them on a list at the top, you'd select the student's name and you drop them into your own box. Say you call it GCSE Business Studies students year 10, you'd make a group and then it would say these students are not assigned to anything, and you could pick the students. And I think at the moment you're trying to pick students who are assigned into a group. That's why I think you can't see the list at the top. If they're not assigned, if you unassign them from year 10, they'll go back into a generic box, and then you can reassign them to both year 10 and the business studies group. And the other question, Hayley, that was asked was, if a student doesn't have an account, can they still view the placement via the link? My understanding was they would be better to have an account, otherwise you couldn't notify them. Is that right?
So yeah, so you can, obviously they can see the opportunity. So if you send it to that email, they can see the opportunity. So the same with what we share with Joe, Dan, Anne, and the rest of the team. That's an opportunity link, so they will be able to see that, but they wouldn't be able to click apply if they don't have an account with Speakers for Schools. Just to like, that's the only thing, but they will be able to see the opportunity, but they won't be actually able to apply for it if they don't have an account. I'm just checking your account now, Emma, to have a look. So yeah, so I can imagine looking at your account, looking at the groups and students. Yeah, so you've already, the reason you can see that is, I'm just going to quickly just share my screen again. You can't see it, there's no data on it, but at least you can just see what I'm trying to say. So here, Emma, you can see that you've already got these groups created. So that's why you can only see those students, but you can create another group here. Or like Shaheen said, you can take them out, but it's just because obviously other people have been using this dashboard as well, and that's what they've set up those groups to do. But again, that's the reason why you can see them, but you'll be able to, if you go into students, you'll be able to either unassign them or see all of the students that are created on there, if that helps.
Yeah, great, thank you. I think when I first created the initial account for the college, I think it had like a test group of year 10 and 11, because obviously we're a college, so we would never set that up. And I think maybe the students have just like automatically been assigned to them or something. So I'll have a look into that.
Yeah, and if you need anything, let us know. But like Shaheen said, you can literally, like, I did think, because I thought, oh God, yeah, I looked at it and I was like, that wouldn't be the right thing. But you can actually, like you say, just unassign them. It might be like you say, they're just testing how they can do that. But actually, yeah, you can just unassign them and then put them into proper form groups or year groups that would help support you.
Brilliant, thank you.
Has anybody else got any questions that they want to ask?
Yeah, I was just typing something in actually, okay. Hayley. All right. Yeah, I'm at the early stage because I'm probably looking for something July time, although possibly summer half term. On my previous notes, it says that you mainly use Google Classroom. We don't use Google Classroom, we use Microsoft Teams. Is that going to be an issue at all?
So we do, well, the reason we use Google Classrooms is because of safeguarding, because we can create accounts for the young people. So when the young people apply, if they're successful, we will then create them a virtual work experience email, which will link them to Google Classrooms. So even though you might not use Google Classrooms, unless they are blocked within the school, they will be able to access that because they will have their own login. But and it's only created a week before they are successful, and then it is deactivated 2 days afterwards, so they can't then access that. So it's all done via the cloud. So hopefully it shouldn't be an issue for them to be able to do it, because they'll have their own login. But obviously if they're at home during half term, hopefully they'll have a login or like a computer they can do that. I know if they're in school, but we can test any firewall issues with you prior to that if you want to check that that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be kids doing it at home rather than in school, so that's fine. That makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Because I know it's a small group, so you don't have to put it in the chat, or if you want to, it's up to you.
Sorry, one final question. From my previous notes as well, it's usually about a sort of 6-week time frame, isn't it? This is what I got the notes from December when we met, when there was a meeting. So once I have the dates, then I can sort of start the process for sort of 6 weeks time. So that's how far I need to sort of think ahead.
So yeah, so I'm actually really trying at the moment to get as many opportunities earlier, because I know that actually students, if you know your dates that you're going to be doing work experience, I'm not saying that you will have the same dates as every other school, but if every school have the same dates, we're going to need to have a lot of employers. So we're trying to get them on now. Like we've got one on for the 21st of June, and I think that's already had 30 applications.
Right, so
we're trying to get them on as soon as possible. So at the moment, how we kind of work in a circle. So we've just done a big tranche for Easter. Then we're now going to be looking at doing a big tranche for May half term, and then we'll do another big tranche for like June onwards. But I just think if a business, I'm trying to say to my businesses, if you can offer placements in the summer and you're happy to get them on for when we come back from Easter, because I think then people will be looking. But one of the things I would say is if you have got a specific week in mind, do let Joe and the team from the Careers Hub know, because we're trying to kind of pull together when everyone's going to do it, so I can start to think about how we go out and market it. But there will be lots of national engagement, even if they're not local engagement, available over the summer. But it might be worth as well if a couple of your schools are thinking about the same date coming together, and then we pull together your existing employers to think about how they can go virtual, and we can just offer it to your school. So we can do kind of a hidden opportunity rather than it being national or everyone can do it. We can do kind of hidden opportunities for your schools. Likewise, there'll be lots of opportunities, but it is going to be that kind of hard thing to know how we can support, because the Heart of South West alone has got so many year 10s and 11s and 12s and 13s about anybody else in the whole region. So I'm trying my hardest to get as many opportunities as possible. But if they can be flexible, I think you're going to have much more chance for them to do stuff. But I appreciate it's going to be hard pulling off timetable right now.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Hayley, I've got a quick question. Would you recommend that young people apply for more than one vacancy? So like you would do for any jobs, I suppose, you know, rather than kind of putting your eggs all in one basket for just one opportunity, would you recommend that they apply for multiple as backups in case they don't get the one they want? Or
I think, if I'm completely honest, I would probably, if they're going to apply for multiple, I would do them over a different time scale, because if they apply for say 5 in the same week, one, that could be young people that are missing out from having that opportunity, and I think I completely understand they don't want to, but we do try to close all of the opportunities a month before, so there probably will be still enough chance to do that and reapply again. But I guess that you can do that, but I think it's just being conscious that we don't want them all to miss, like a lot of other people to miss out, because if they get offered 5 places, that's potentially other people that won't be able to do that. But I think, again, if you can be flexible, so perhaps they want to apply for one in half term, but it's just a virtual insight day, because it's still at least some engagement, and then maybe looking to do one in your week, but then maybe another one at the end of term, because they could come off curriculum. But I can't say don't do that. I think I want to try and be as fair as possible, because there's a lot of young people that need support this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, no worries, thank you. I think Mandy's just put something in the chat as well.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, do you need to have a set week? No, I would actually say if you don't have a set week, it's probably a little bit easier, because it's not going to be as hard as kind of not fighting for the placements, but we have placements, and I'm trying to get employers to be much more flexible. So I've got some placements. I've got a placement running actually right now. I've got another one on Monday, one next Thursday, because it's like British Science Week and National International Women's Day, and then I've got about 4 running through Easter holidays, 1 3-day placement running the week before Easter. So yes, I think as long as you can be flexible, and like Joe will say, we had a lady from Plymouth send an email saying that she's really happy that a young person got to do a work experience in London, because they would never been able to do that before. So I think that if you've got a young person that really wants to be able to do it, and you can find time for them to come off curriculum, that would be great. But I do understand the constraints that everybody is under at the moment. So it's just about knowing what is the best for your schools, and maybe like talking to the Careers and Enterprise company, because actually we might be able to say, actually, if there's a number that want to do a 1 day, we can then ask employers to do that, so then your young people can all get something. Or it might be, if we know that 5 schools are doing it in a certain week, we can then trying to get employers to do that. But it's kind of at the moment quite fluid, so any kind of information and guidance you can give to us, we can start to kind of funnel that when we're speaking to employers.
And also, Hayley, it might be just worth mentioning, we are in the process of putting together a survey for schools at the moment, just to try and gauge what schools are wanting to do up till the remaining academic year. So we're going to be asking you a number of specific questions per each region, and that will help us with planning with our employers in each of the regions. So if we got responses back from your area and said we all want to have a week in the summer and we're all quite flexible to let students come on opportunities, then that will really help and support you as obviously as a school, and also help us to make sure we can get those opportunities with the employers.
Yeah, so Lana, around SEN students and placements suitable, we are actually running a couple of pilots around SEND and making sure that we can support those young people because we do know that their needs are different. One of the things that we do need to also look at and work with some employers is making sure that we do support SEND in schools, because actually there's a lot of young people that are still in mainstream school that actually need support. I would say that whilst we do talk to employers, I think they probably are at the moment a bit more geared up for people that are not SEND, and that's not me trying to be, I'm just trying to be honest that I think that they are, but we are trying to work with employers. So if you do have a number of schools, and that might be something that we can look at, perhaps doing, asking some employers to support us with some engagement specifically for mainstream SEND students, and we can again have that as a private advert where only your students that fit into that criteria will have that advert. But it's just, I guess I want to make sure that they are feeling comfortable and get the right support, and that's something that I'm working with Joe at the moment on, actually making sure that we can do that. So I guess the answer is that most of them we can talk to the employer because it will show that. So if you do click they've got SEND, they will know that, the employer, and then what we can do is support them to make sure that they are making it suitable. But I also know that sometimes even just in the advert and the way it's written won't be as accessible for those students. So we are trying, but we are, like everything, kind of evolving. So we are looking at it at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add to that, I would say, you know, our biggest barrier, I suppose, to offering those placements for SEND students is that we don't have the employers to match, like Hayley's saying. So if you work with a particular employer that, you know, often offers out work experience placements to those students, then do let us know, myself or Hayley or your enterprise coordinator, so that we can then approach that employer and talk about, you know, moving that kind of work experience and helping them, supporting them with putting it onto a virtual platform. I'm more than happy to do that. So yeah, just get in touch and have the conversation, I think, probably. Sorry, Hayley, carry on.
No, that's fine. No, I think you've like you say, yeah, we need the employers, and I think that whilst my team at Speakers for Schools can go out and use those employers, as you can imagine, just in the heart of the Southwest, let alone the whole of the Southwest, there is hundreds of employers, and I don't know all of them. And actually, whilst we've still got some really great engagement, you might have contacts that we can just speak to and talk to about how we can go virtual. But from an SEND perspective, and I know you are a school looking at that, what we are looking at is maybe like a 4-week pilot where they do smaller bite-sized chunk engagement. So I think if you do have an employer, let me know, and then we can try to look at how we can support you.
And also the registration process, we are looking at how to register those students differently and make it easier for them. So that's a process that we are aware of, and we are looking at it for SEN schools as well.
Hi Hayley, sorry, I put a message on the chat. From a student point of view, is there a guide? Obviously, from my school's point of view, I might want to amend it, but a step-by-step guide for students to help them through the process?
Yes, so we have actually just had, I think we are in the process of having one created. I think there's going to be a video as well. I will ask marketing, as everything, marketing is normally the last thing to catch up on everything else that we're doing, but I will check where that's got to. But there is a guide. So when students get their application, they will also have a step-by-step guide on how to access the classrooms and everything like that. Shaheen, have you seen anything recently about the kind of
put on the
okay.
Drive.
So what I would do is I'll share it with Joe, Dan and Anne, and they can then share it out with the rest of your enterprise advisors about how to do that or coordinate.
Thank you.
Right, has anybody else got any questions? Like, more than happy for you to either kind of just shout them out, or we can wrap up. But I'm here, and Joe will send my details, and I'm more than happy to support you. But I hope that this session's been quite useful. And Emma, from a college perspective, I know you've got to have a number of your students have got to have work experience and have at least like 30 hours, haven't they, I believe. So I know if you do have employers, I've been doing that with a number of the colleges, I'm more than happy to come and talk to them and help support them, and that's been really working quite well. Like we've done some in Bournemouth and we're doing one tonight with some schools and colleges, and even if it's like, I think we had 4 or 5 employers, but actually if they all can offer one thing, that would actually still support your students. So that's what we're, like, I'm more than happy to do that on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah, brilliant. I've actually made a note of that as a really good idea, because we've also got a business engagement team that kind of run alongside with, you know, even more employer links and connections. I know Joe and the team have been working with kind of the local Plymouth area of employers to kind of get them kind of up on Speakers for Schools, but yeah, we've got links as well. So yeah, I'll have a look into that and kind of get in touch with you, because it's a great idea.
More than happy to.
Brilliant. And Hayley, just one other thing just from me, just to kind of clarify, because, you know, there are a number of opportunities on there, like you said earlier. And so can you just differentiate between the kind of virtual work experience and the Insight days, so that people kind of have a bit of an understanding of both, in case they don't know the
that's fine. So virtual, well, we're actually adding another one, but I won't completely confuse that. So an Insight day for me is more a behind the scenes employer encounter. Gatsby Benchmark 5, but would look like a typical day when I kind of suggested to businesses where they would welcome the students, do a quick introduction, then they might talk about their business and the sector, thinking around labour market information, then they might do a live quiz, or they might do some polls, then you might have 3 or 4 employees that they can come and share their journey and about skills, and then they might break for lunch and then do a small activity based on the business. So it might be around kind of how would you promote our activity or our business, how would you, like, linking a bit to the curriculum, but it's a bit harder on an Insight day because of the time scales. But I always think it's kind of a behind the scenes, so you might see some videos of what the building might look like or what the business might look like. I know that some construction ones recently have been doing like drones, going out, like drones, like showing sites, and I was like, that would never happen when I was at school. So like that's really exciting. But then the kind of 3-day experience is much more of a work experience where they will do much more project-based work. So they will still get to hear from different employees that work there, but they will actually be set a task to go and do, and actually they need to, like, so one of the businesses that we're working with now, especially for the Plymouth area, Emma, I know it is over Easter, but MVV Environment are doing learning about waste and energy, and actually it will be really good. It might not sound like that, might not sound the sexiest kind of sector or work experience to do, but the work that Jane is putting into it, so it'll be looking at the 10-point green revolution plan, and then getting the young people to actually work in groups and share their voices about like how and why we would be like questioning that, what they want to do in the future. So it is really engaging, and they'll get to learn from people. And Max, like I say we, Joe the team, like any event, Max comes and speaks because he's an apprentice that works there, but he's so passionate, and actually he wouldn't have got there if it wasn't for like actually able to access an opportunity like this. So I think that there's definitely opportunities if you enjoy STEM, if you enjoy like environment, waste is probably not the, like, everyone thinks of bin man, but that's also good because it's not just a bin man, there's a lot more into it. So I think that those are the opportunities at which we're having like more real life kind of projects, and then the longer ones than the kind of Insight day. But some Insight days are half days, and I think we're trying to now do that because we know schools are under constraint, so we're trying to be flexible. And I know some businesses are also going to start doing stuff from 4 till 7, so 4 till 6, so they can get them after school. So I think at the moment you've got, if you think about one day Insight is kind of more Gatsby Benchmark 5, and then a 3-day placement is more Gatsby Benchmark 6.
Do you not be worth mentioning the Discovery? I'm just thinking about the year 7 to 9s, because that's
Yeah. Do you want to do that? Because
so we're just launching a new program, or we've launched it. It's called Discovery, and it's very much aimed towards giving young people a little bit of a taster and an insight into industries and sectors, based very much around talks, shorter in length, ranging anything from an hour to 2 hours, trying to get 2 or 3 people to speak, maybe to young people. It can be aimed up to a full year group, so they're only going to be joining via a link. A teacher needs to be present in the session for the students who are between year 7 and 9. But if they're 14 and above, then it doesn't need a teacher's presence. So basically, it's something that can be facilitated within the curriculum. It can be fitted into the school day. Students do get to interact because it's not like a broadcast. Whilst the speaker is on, they can ask questions, they can run polls, and they can get a bit of a taste about what that industry and sector is about. So not too much detail, but just giving them that bit of an overview from a younger age. And as its title suggests, it's about discovery. So discover about construction, discover about digital. And that might be one to consider, where you might want to do a Gatsby Benchmark 5 for year 7 to 9 because they've missed out by not being in school. And obviously, if we can get the employer to deliver with, you know, 1 or 2 people from his organisation, and we can then reach a full year group. So you could have like numerous forms from one year group on at the same time, because they'll all join via a link. So that's just another one to consider.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. Okay, I'm conscious of time. We're coming to the end, but I hope it's been really useful for you. And I think that the key for, you know, for me, for you guys to take away is that these are kind of individual experiences. So it does give your students the option to kind of pick and choose themselves, and they do have to kind of take some ownership for it. So hopefully it's giving them those employability skills to go on and, you know, be able to write an application, or, you know, like they would do kind of for any other job or apprenticeship or whatever they have. So it's like I say, do get in contact with us to try and engage your employers as much as possible, because the more employers we engage with, the more opportunities we can post on there. And if you've got any questions, I know that Hayley, you know, is more than happy for you to get in touch with her directly. Hayley, are you all right for me to send out your email? Brilliant. Okay, fab. So, but I hope it's been really useful for you, and just contact us with any other questions.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.